Alright guys, so if you remember earlier in the month, I talked about a video called Sailor Strike Force, which, if you need some remembering, Sailor Strike Force was basically like a take on the Thunderbolts in this shared universe, not connected to the Infinityverse. In this story, basically, Sailor Moon gets approached by Dr. Director to lead a covert ops team. But the team, in general, are all villains who are looking to be reformed. And it's 4 candidates that they see are the best ones for this new job. And the reason why they picked Sailor Moon was because she could be both harsh and fair. Like, they considered other people, but they need someone who could not only see it from their perspective, but also be willing to put them back. Like, if they see, like, yeah, they're not going with the program, that they need to be put back in prison. So the reason they chose Usagi was because she's not naive anymore. This is a more Usagi past the Galaxia stuff, so she's not as naive, and she's a good leader now. And the first four candidates they've put together are Black Cuervo, Skybite from the Transformers, Black Cuervo from LT Ray, Jack Spicer, and Toffee. So those are the first 4 candidates in this mission, and because of this, Sailor Moon is now taking a leave of absence from the Sailor Guardians in order to carry out her job as leader of this Sailor Strike Force, as it's being dubbed. So the Sailor Strike Force doesn't really get a mission yet for a while. They don't get like a full-on mission for a few weeks, mostly because like it's just training and team bonding, and already like Usagi's already seeing like she only has 4 members, but it's very clear these guys are started out as solo acts. Even though the only one that kind of works on a team is Cuervo, and that's because she worked with her mother and grandmother in the Flock of Fury. But the problem is that even though Skybite was a member of the Decepticons, he was more like shoot first, ask questions never. And Jack, even though he was part of villain team-ups, he's always been more about himself. And Toffee is more of a warrior. And even though he is kind of a leader, Usagi doesn't trust him. Usagi doesn't outright trust him, even though he tries to give her like tips while they're doing training missions, and they're doing like training exercises, and she's like, no, I am not going to put myself in this position where you think you can just dictate. You're not the boss here, Toffee. I don't think you understand it, but you are not the boss in any way, shape, or form. So back off. That's more or less what Usagi says to Toffee, to Toffee every time he tries to bring it up. And Toffee's like, look, I'm not here to fight you. I'm just telling you, like, these people, including myself, we don't operate like the Sailor Guardians. We're not the Sailor Guardians. And if you want this to work out, then you have to play to our strengths, not our, not against each other. Therein lies your problem right there. You're playing this like you think you can keep us around like the Sailor Guardians, through friendship and strong words, but really it's not like that at all. You see, he basically goes like, you see, you need to have a firmer hand in these situations. You need to have a firmer grasp on us, and that includes me. And he's like, just food for thought, princess. So the whole time they're training, there is a attack, or a series of attacks that are happening in a area of Russia. The problem is that the Russians aren't allowing the U.S. to come in, and it's starting to cause like a fissure between the U.S. and Russia, because they're blaming these attacks on the U.S. Even though it's clear that these are energy-based attacks, and they're thinking maybe it's Cobra, maybe it's something else, but we can't go in there. So Dr. Director is like, this is the perfect opportunity to dispatch the strike team. And her second in command, Will Do, is like, are you fucking nuts? You want us to... This is a highly explosive situation, and you want to entrust it into the hands of a young girl and 4 supervillains. You want to put... Like, this is the time to break out your vanity project. Like, really, you want to do this now? You want to break out the vanity project right here and now? Seriously, what the hell? And she's like, we can't go in there. Like, the Justice Division, we cannot go in there. We can't go in there. And if we do send, if we do send Sailor Moon's team in there, we could have deniability and say that either she was mind controlled by them, or she switched sides and is now a villain. So we have total deniability either way. We can just drop them in there. So Will Do acquiesces, and that's when Dr. Director brings Sailor Moon and her little team together for the briefing. And she tells them straight up, like, look, you are going to be dropped into a situation in Russia, and you're going to investigate the source of these attacks before Russia decides to declare war on the U.S., so no pressure. And Usagi's instilling, like, oh, that's all the pressure. That is literally all of the pressure. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, are you serious right now? So, yeah. That's kind of the big deal right now. So, even though Usagi does make the point of they're not ready, none of them are ready for this, and they're like, and Dr. Director goes, they'll never be ready unless you put them out on the field. Even you won't be ready unless we put you out on the field. So that's what happens, is that the team gets dispatched into the field of combat, and they get dropped in the middle of in like a low flying, like cloaked plane, high-tech stealth jet, and dropped in the middle of Russia. Of course, the big problem is that Skybite's a Decepticon, and his alt mode is a shark. So they all have to keep a low profile. The 5 of them have to keep a low profile. So they have to go through a town and discover what remains of like several members of the October Guard. If you guys remember, the October Guard is the Russian version of G.I. Joe, and they find several members of the October Guard slain and butchered by something. And that something has been tearing through the town. It turns out that something is a fucking Kankralot from Code Lyoko. Yeah. Turns out that monsters from Lyoko are coming out of Lyoko and into this Russian town, because it turns out that there was a supercomputer in Russia that the Russians discovered. It was in the Cold War, and they rediscovered it, and it more or less tried to access Lyoko, but instead they opened up a door for all of Xana's monsters to come out. So, yeah, Xana is attacking Russia, and hopefully he plans, like, nuclear war between the two and just Judgment Day the shit out of this whole situation. So the team rallies together, and they all fight, and obviously they can't, like, coordinate to begin with, but Usagi shows how powerful she is, and during this battle she proves how her leadership can help navigate them. Jack is obviously the smart one, so he's learning how to utilize the tech that the supercomputer has. Toffee is, showing how much of a warrior he can be by just cutting through people. However, it comes down that William, Xana, the possessed minion of Xana, the possessed minion of Xana, William shows up, and him and Usagi get into a fight. The two do battle, while the rest of the team tries to shut down the supercomputer. But at that point, they also discover that there's Russian jets coming to bomb the area, because they've already seen, they're already, aware that something's going on, and there are, now a team of Western super beings here, Western metahumans, and one of them, they're like, that's gotta be Sailor Moon. So they're just gonna bomb the shit out of it and then attack America. So, Usagi, battling William, tells Skybite, you gotta take those jets out. And Skybite's like, glorious, turns into a shark and just proceeds to eat the jets, even though Usagi's like, I hated that. I just sent innocent men to die for this cause. And yeah, by the end of it, mission is saved. They shut down the supercomputer, cut off the flow of Xana monsters, but by the end of it, Usagi's like, I feel terrible. I just sent some innocent men to death, and yeah, this could have been. And Toffee reminds her, things could have been a lot worse. Like, welcome to real leadership. When I commanded armies, I had to face the fact that I was going to get people killed and kill people in these wars. So, welcome to actual leadership. Even though Usagi shoots back with, I had to make stupid decisions. I had to make tough decisions too. Don't you dare tell me I'm some bunhead. I'm every bit as a leader as you. But she also sees, maybe it's time I do need a second in command. And she does designate Toffee as her second in this mission. So there you go, guys. That is Sailor Strike Force 2. Hope you all enjoy this. You guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of it. And would you guys like to see more of this? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.